Joining us now is Representative Tom Price, who represents the 6th District of Georgia. Congressman Price is the ranking Republican on the Health Committee and Health, Labor, and Pensions Subcommittee. The congressman's also a medical doctor, and he's been an outspoken advocate for patient-centered health care reform. Congressman, thank you for being with us.
Great to be with you. Thank you ever so much for allowing me to join you.
Well, my pleasure. I've been wanting to get you on for some time. What's your read on tonight? Is the president going to tell us anything different?
Well, as you know, this is his 28th speech on health care, so I don't anticipate that we'll hear a different message. We're going to hear the same messenger, and my sense, viewing what happened in Ohio on Monday, is that he's gonna dig his heels in and just be in campaign mode and talk about the government-run program and how there's a moral imperative for solving this.
What's your problem with his approach? Your primary problem, Tom?
I got a number of them. One is that any government-run program will force millions of individuals, millions of Americans onto the government-run plan, and that's unacceptable. Any mandate in this Congress will result in a mandated insurance policy that will not allow for all of the robust things that are happening out there in the market right now. And as a physician, anything that makes it so that a government bureaucrat is getting between you and your doctor is unacceptable, and certainly the House bill does that.
Well, it makes me wonder how folks think, and apparently they don't, that the president's right when he says that we can take this thing over and put everybody under essentially a Medicare type program, and put another 45 million people into it, and we're going to have the same number of doctors caring for all these additional people, and keep people even wanting to be physicians. What's it like? How do you view that from a physician's point of view? What's that going to be like to the average citizen?
Oh, just phenomenal. The workforce issues are huge, and we've seen it in Massachusetts, where there were 300,000 folks who were uninsured up there with the plan that was put in place that actually had some private component to it, not enough. They only got 150,000 to get to become insured, and they're having workforce challenges. So this administration and this Congress, with Speaker Pelosi right on down, doesn't appreciate the fact that the physicians of this land aren't going to be able to provide the service that they're mandating, and many of them are going to say, "Look, I've had enough. I'm done. I'm not going to play with this partner anymore."
I know that there are several physicians on the Hill, I believe, right now, and file petitions.
Yes.
With regard to the ideas that have been floated. What are they saying, basically?
Well, they know that getting the government involved in this to a greater degree will only decrease the quality of care that's being provided across this land. Now, there are wonderful principles that we ought to adopt in health care, whether it's affordability or accessibility or quality or choices or responsiveness or innovation. All of those things ought to be principles, but none of them are improved by the further intervention of the federal government. Now, the good news is, as you well know, we've got wonderful solutions out there that we can embrace, and as chairman of the Republican Study Committee, we've put forward multiple solutions, one of them being H.R. 3400, that'll solve the challenges that we've got right now, keep what's good in our system, and doesn't have to raise taxes by 1 penny.
Give us just a quick summary of that approach.
A couple points to make. One is that we need to get folks to make it so that it's financially feasible for them to get insurance if they're being truly financially challenged right now. You can do that through a process of tax deductions and tax credits and refundable credits and tax equity for the purchase, so you get to purchase insurance with pre-tax dollars. Two, we've got to solve the portability issue, making it so that you don't lose your insurance if you change your job or you lose your job, and the pre-existing illness or injury problem where folks are thrown into the individual market where they're actually priced out of the ability to purchase insurance.
Does it keep everybody tied to their employment?
No, absolutely not. It allows you to take your insurance with you if you change your job or you lose your job, and provides for a robust pooling mechanism so you can pool with millions of other individuals, get the purchasing power of millions instead of being out there in the individual market.
Republicans have put forth these and other proposals, Congressman, and yet the president says that you have no answer, that you're wanting nothing to change at all.
It's just fundamentally wrong, and I'll let folks draw their conclusion, but he's the champion of misinformation on this issue because not a single single Republican in the House of Representatives or in the Senate believes that the status quo is acceptable. We know that we need to solve the things that are failing in our current system. We just don't want to throw out the things that are of the highest quality in our current system, and that includes fundamental reform of our lawsuit abuse system. We've got folks who are out there increasing the cost of medicine through the practice of defensive medicine just because of frivolous lawsuits. We can fundamentally change that in a very positive way, and it doesn't cost America a dime.
What are some people paying for insurance that you hear?
When I talk to my colleagues, especially those in high-risk areas like OB, high-risk OB, and neurosurgery, their malpractice insurance could be $125,000 to $200,000 a year, and that's outrageous. But what is more outrageous is the defensive medicine that's practiced to keep people out of the courtroom or being able to defend a lawsuit. That costs hundreds of billions of dollars each year.
When the president talks about us saving money by what I call a cram down on the doctors and hospitals, and just saying we're going to save it on the backs of these doctors as we load more work on them. He talks about using best practices. Who does he say is going to determine what those best practices are?
Well, this is where the Comparative Effectiveness Research Council, that's already in place, as you know, was put in place through the non-stimulus bill passed earlier this year. And he appointed 15 members to that council that's supposed to determine what these best practices are, and not a single actively practicing physician on that council, not one. And so that lets you know what kind of individuals he believes ought to be making these decisions. It's non-medical people.
Well, a doctor can call Washington, and find he's got his patient in his office there. I'm sure he'll get through to at least the vice president and find out what procedure that would be appropriate for his patient there. Yes. It's all absurd, Congressman, and you put it all into perspective for us. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Fred. Keep fighting for freedom.
All right.